We are off to a new employer branding event next week on the 7th of May. Super excited about it. There's been quite a lot of chatter about EB Uncut, hasn't there?
Mate, I'm honestly really excited about this one. We've been talking about this for months and months now with Claire, with Alex, other people that are closely involved, and I can't believe we're less than a week away. It's crazy.
When did they create the EB space? It was over a year ago now. Definitely.
Yeah, but the momentum that's been created with that community, like the number of countries, people from different countries around the world that are now involved in the community, it's well into double digits, and it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a few hundred people there as well. And I think it's great. They had that meetup, a bit of a social in King's Cross.
Really?
And it was about probably a couple of weeks before they started promoting it. And the venue was packed. So it's great that they're doing EB Uncut, which is being pitched as an unconference. They're going to be in at King's Cross at Havas People. Quite nice for me, actually. I used to work at Havas People, and the King's Cross office is beautiful. So it'd be good to get into the auditorium there on the 7th of May. So it's going to be quite a few discussions had, but it's a little bit different, isn't it? We're not looking at death by PowerPoint here or like a whole load of talks, are we?
I think that's what I'm most excited about. I think you and I have been to a lot of these kind of events, EB, recruitment marketing, employer content style events, and they typically follow that cut and paste model, which works, by the way. It's tried and tested, but it's typically
There's a place for it.
There's absolutely a place for it, and you get a lot from those events. It's PowerPoint presentations, it's slide decks, it's that type of thing. What I'm really looking forward to about EB Uncut is this unconference nature of it, and is the fact that it's about conversation, it's about panels, it's about debate, it's about, I think, bringing the audience into conversations. I think that's what's going to bring the whole thing, bring it to life. And that's what I'm most looking forward to. I think you and I have got our work cut out, because between those sessions, there's going to be a lot of walking around, a lot of talking to different people, which is really exciting, but there's going to be an awful lot going on. By the way, if you do see Chris or myself at any point, we're really friendly. Please come over and talk to us.
Absolutely. We should probably say why we're talking about this. Why did Alex and Claire get in touch with us? We've both got our own podcast. I set up employer content marketing, I think it was like February 2020. So about 6 weeks before the big COVID happened. Still been going strong, and I loved chatting. I've chatted to about 120 plus people. It's just fantastic. And when I saw your podcast.
Of course, yeah. So Employer, I think I was following, before I started Employer Brand, I was following your content for a good solid 12 months. And I think I even came to you before I kicked it off, just to let you know I was a kind of a fan of what you were doing and the conversations you were having. And it was a big kind of catalyst and spark for me kicking off Employer Brand. But what's been really nice, mate, is that we're the complete opposite of competing podcasts. We've joined forces so many times now for the greater good. And I'm excited that we're able to now do it at this conference level, because I think we enjoy each other's company.
Exactly.
More importantly, we have a lot of fun doing this.
To be honest, to bring our podcasts to an event like this is one of the reasons we've done this, is because it's just the opportunity to chat with people. And I think it's particularly why I like the panelist approach. It's actually, it makes opinion a lot more accessible. It's not like at every single thing at the TED Talk. Although, of course, again, that model is great. But the fact you've got panelists means more people can contribute. But also, I think it then becomes something that more people feel that they can do. But I love the fact that we're going to be able to just like chat with people, and we just love talking about what's going on in the world of employer branding.
Oh, 100%, I agree. And I think because of the setup of the Uncut and the panel nature, the fact that it is all about just driving conversation, and it's not necessarily about delivering those TED Talk style slideshow presentations. It's not, people have different perspectives on how things should be done this way. Other people think it should be done this way. I love scenarios where those people are brought together to share their ideas and to have debates. And the fact that they've got I think they've called it the EB therapy session towards the end of the day.
Yes.
That for me, that just epitomizes what all this is about. It's like we haven't all got it sussed. We don't all know. We don't all have the answers to everything. And that's fine. We can go to these EB therapy sessions and we can talk about this stuff. I'm involved with this at the moment. It isn't going according to plan. And we thought we'd be
Mm.
here. We're actually over here. Has anybody else been in this scenario and can you help? It summarizes what all this is about. It's not about like, bang, this is how you need to do stuff, do it this way. A lot of the people there are extremely experienced, but things don't always go exactly as they should go. And it's absolutely
Mm.
fine to hold your hands up and talk about that. And yeah, I just
Yeah.
sense it's a really friendly, inclusive place for people to come and bear all and share war stories, share success stories, share everything in between. Everything can be put on the table.
One person doesn't have all the answers. One team in an organization doesn't have all the answers, but a community of employer branders,
Yeah.
they have the answers. So be able to spend time together and in events like this, I think is great. Definitely. Let's have a look about what sessions we've got coming up
Yeah.
then. So breakfast and arrival at 9:30. This is one of my favorites, but I think they're all good. But the first one at 9:30, which is grit, growth, and resilience, navigating everyday adversity in employer branding.
And we
And
all,
that's just like brilliant because that is self-help, that's therapy as well, isn't it? Going that if you are in these situations, we're going to have people to share their own experiences, and there's no promotion there. It's purely utility, which is great, and see that being very valuable for people.
totally agree. And I think it's a good point that you made, Chris. That happening right at the start of the day is a really lovely thing because it's letting everybody know, like, we are all going through challenges, different in a lot of cases. There's a huge spectrum of work and projects and programs going on. But just getting that out there right at the start of the day that everybody has challenges, there's adversity everywhere.
Yeah.
How are we all overcoming it?
Mm.
I think it will put everyone to ease nice and early. So yeah, I agree. Second session, I've got a feeling my friend Dr. Marcia Goddard might be one of the panelists for that. I'm not
Oh,
totally
yeah.
sure. She's definitely a panelist in one of the sessions. Session starting at 10:15. Inclusion isn't optional. Acting with purpose in employer branding.
Yeah.
So forward to that. That's bound to be a good one.
But the EB Uncut hashtag on LinkedIn, you were looking at it earlier on, weren't you? People can just go on there and they can find out more details. Quite a few people are talking about it, especially the panelists.
Yeah.
I like the feeling of the conversation that might be happening on that, which is that it's not looking at inclusion as a tick box,
Yeah.
and I think I'd imagine like see what's been going on in the US, and with Trump now being back in power, there is probably going to be some sort of mention of that. But I love the fact it's going to be talking around not this kind of tip boxing and going, we've done inclusion, on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's part of it. It's part of everything we do by its very nature. That's what
It's-
inclusion is.
It's true. And I think the nice thing is, and I've done a few sessions with Marcia, and she talks so brilliantly on this topic, but without inclusion, high performance doesn't follow. So I think where in the past, even the
Yeah.
people that were doing it as a tick boxing exercise, it's been proven that if you've got an inclusive culture, you're attracting a more diverse range of talent into your business. High performance does follow. And I think it's important that we lead with that narrative as well, because it can so often,
Yeah.
like you said, Chris, is, oh yeah, we need that. That needs to be a tick in the box, but it's done for a reason. It's not done because it's politically correct or it should be done. It's done because
Exactly.
it needs to be done.
Just because.
Yeah,
Just because.
exactly. Yeah.
And it wouldn't be right to have a discussion that don't include AI. But I think it's not a good thing to roll one's eyes when you hear AI. Yeah. Of course, there are people who will talk about it and they think about the headlines of what AI is going to do and is doing, but it's really important. So AI and employer branding, threat, tool, or teammate. I tend to be on the positive side of things more. I think given the setup that you typically see in employer branding teams, it's either one person or it's small team, and to have a sidekick that is AI, I think is a great opportunity, but so much more than just writing job descriptions. It's so much more than that. I'm really interested to hear that session. Definitely. We've got the Martech involved in that. See, the tech stack that they've built, they know their stuff. And so they'll be bringing some great prompts and insights when it comes to prompts. I didn't mean that as no pun intended, but like prompting the conversation and bringing insights about what AI can do.
Yeah.
And also the pitfalls of using it as well.
Yeah, I'm with you entirely. Look, let's face it, AI is fundamental to the success of the future of employer branding, recruitment marketing, talent attraction, talent acquisition recruitment as a whole. What I'm really looking forward to hearing is around the blend between the human touch and authenticity of content creation with employer branding, but how AI can take away a lot of that kind of the heavy lifting that needs to be done around scaling the content and distributing the content and everything else that's associated. I'm really hoping that we get to discover how the human touch and the authenticity can be blended with AI for really nice results, because the thought of AI being overused in employer branding really does break my heart a little bit.
Your podcast is called Employer Bland, so there's clearly a connection and danger. Employer branding is being criticized as being maybe sometimes a bit too corporate and vanilla and samey. Now there's a danger that obviously AI feeding itself all the time, if you're not inputting in the right way, you're just going to be regurgitating stuff that's already out there.
So true.
Oh my goodness. Look, we've got to be careful not to do episodes on each of these topics, but maybe we do something after that. Actually, we can always do a review, can't we? I think it'd be interesting for me and you just to do a bit of review after the conference. What else have we got? We've got here growing. Oh, I love this one. Growing without a map. Building a career in employer branding. And that's at 1:30. Growing without a map. I love that. It's shades of, I think, and you did an episode with Claire about blueprints in employer branding.
Yeah.
And then not being blueprints. So that thing about actually there is no kind of one way of doing things. I love that. And although I'm not in an in-house employer branding role, my shoulders feel a bit lighter when I hear something that says growing without a map.
Yeah.
Because that's normal. That's life.
So true. It's so true. And so many of the people that I know, I'm sure that you know as well in the industry, they fell into employer branding by default of having some other TA recruitment related role. It wasn't a considered kind of career path. So I do the fact that now obviously our industry has grown exponentially, and it's a huge beast in its own right now. So the whole part around building a career in employer branding, that wasn't seriously considered, I don't think, 10 years ago.
So what have we got in the afternoon? What have we got? 2:30.
Well, okay. So we've got so 2:30 to EVP or not to EVP. I think this is going to be a really nice debate, isn't it? I sense that there's going to be a panel debate. I'm sure that the audience will get actively involved as well. I'm looking forward to that one.
We'll see Roger and Claire from Leap. So they have their own Leap Listens podcast. So that's great. I think they're a great choice to have on stage hosting that conversation. And then we've got a closing panel discussion about EB therapy.
I think it's going to be a free-for-all. I think it's going to be very busy as well, Chris, the EB therapy panel. I think we all need to be there.
Yeah, big cathartic exercise. People will be like finishing, feeling so much better about themselves and bouncing into the networking event just down the road afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. EB therapy dropping into the drinks afterwards, I think, is a very good choice.
It's going to be great. We'll be roaming around. We're doing Vox Pops there for both of our podcasts. So I think the big thing for me is that events like EB Conference are great because of the format, of this panelist format and this Unconference format. But also another great thing about events is the conversations that happen in between the agenda. Yeah. And so that's very much what we want to capture as well, I think, and continue that conversation. So yeah, looking forward to it. And we've got a room to do some audio only episodes if we wanted to dive into a bit more detail with people, having done some Vox Pops. So yeah, just around the corner, we've got our kits, we've got our mics, all ready to go.
Ready to go. No, really looking forward to it. And yeah, Wednesday can't come quick enough. Yeah, see you next week.
Exactly. 7th of May, King's Cross. If anyone has not got their tickets, go get your tickets somewhere in a link near this video.